Hey guys, I was just sitting down here in my little mini arcade thinking about all the great times that I've had in arcades, movie theaters, bowling alleys, really everywhere that had arcade games. And I thought, man, it would be fun to share some of those memories with you. I'd also love to hear some of your memories, so please throw those down in the comments below. So let's take a trip down memory lane. Hold my iced coffee. I'm sure, like me, many of you have some really fond memories of arcades. And sometimes those memories go a little bit beyond the games that you were playing. So today, what I want to talk about are not just games that I think were good games. Some of these aren't even really that great of games. But man, they share a special place in my heart. And sometimes it might not have a whole lot to do with the game. So let's get started and take a look at some of these games and these memories that I hold so dearly. The first one I want to look at is S.T.U.N Runner. So you can see it actually on the screen behind me. I got a kind of a playthrough going there that somebody has on YouTube. I'll post that link in the description so you guys can go and check it out. He does a complete playthrough of the game. But man, this game is one of my fondest memories of a game when I was a kid, and this isn't me. Just so you know, that's not me in the picture. But I would go to the mall with my grandma, and the movie theater in the mall had a S.T.U.N Runner cabinet there, and man, I loved that thing. It was so fun. I mean, look at this. It's so inviting for a kid to sit down on and play. It's just one of those really cool games where it looks purpose built, and I think the cabinet sells it. The yoke that you steer with, just everything about it. So this game, you're going through tunnels basically. It's kind of like a early form of Wipeout, if you know, like the Wipeout series of games. So this is actually the playthrough that I have playing behind me here. But I'm going to go ahead and shut up here so that you can hear the startup sound on this, because man, it is so cool. So here we go. I'll go ahead and play a little bit of that for you. I love it. The welcome S.T.U.N Runner. That's so great. There's actually a YouTuber out there that has that at the beginning of all of his videos. Man, I can't remember who it is. I'd have to look that up. But every time I watch one of his videos, it's always that little hit of nostalgia at the beginning with the welcome S.T.U.N Runner. Sorry, I can't do impersonations, but you get the point. So here's actually where you can see you go through these tunnels here, and there's these speed boosts as you go along that you can hit, these stars that you have to collect. Shoot the different vehicles as you complete more stages. You get a little bit more powerful weapons and things of that nature. So that's the basic premise of the game. But man, it was a fun game to play. I really liked it, and it was so different from anything else out there. So really cool early polygon game. I dig it. I'm hoping to actually make a cabinet kind of like this one and have it down here in my basement. Maybe miniaturize it a little bit, kind of, along the lines of the arcade one-ups, a little smaller, but something in this same vein. So maybe one day we'll see that. But yeah, great memory going to the mall with my grandma, or giving me a few quarters to put into this. It's a lot of fun. Also, kind of along this line of things, the next one that I want to talk about is actually another unit that seemed very purpose built, and once again, it was just it was so inviting, and that was hard Drivin. So this is one that actually an arcade near near my church had, and my dad would take me to the arcade while my mom was at church for choir practice. So it was kind of a lot of fun going over there with him, and I remember this game rather fondly, not because it's a great game, because honestly, it's not. It's not a great game, but just the cabinet itself was so impressive. It looked so much like it was going to be like driving a real car. You had the seat that swung out for you to sit in. It had the shifter, even had a clutch in it. Fairly realistic looking steering wheel at the time, right? This thing, man, it looked amazing. And I remember my dad, one time giving me the money to play this game, which this game was like 2 or 3 times as much as like other games at the time. I just remember it being super expensive. So it's not one that I got to play a lot. But when he let me, that felt like a really, really special day, which is amazing because the game itself just really isn't that good. But here's kind of a basic idea of the game. Also, an early polygon game. You had the auto or the stick with clutch. Once again, this playthrough here, I'll link it down in the description, so if you guys want to see more of it. But very early polygon game. The control on it was really strange. Cars were really floaty. A lot of screeching sound from the tires and everything, which actually I have muted. Unmute that so you can hear some of that. But yeah, it was a hard game to control. And I remember actually getting a port of this. I think it was for the Super Nintendo, and oh my gosh, it was abysmal. It was absolutely abysmal. I was so excited because I had fond memories of this from the arcade, but man, it was it was awful. So not a game I highly recommend, but yet one that I really have some fond memories of. Oh, and this loop, that's what happened every time I tried to make it around that loop too. So there you go, and you got that sweet crash cam afterwards. So kind of one of the first times I'd seen that in a game. So hard driving, hard game, not all that much fun. But while I'm on the subject of arcades with my dad, that same arcade there had Skeetball machines, right? So now this isn't your typical, arcade video game kind of thing, but that was one that my dad actually enjoyed playing, and so it's always fun playing that with him. Of course, I'm sure you guys have seen and remember the Skeetball machines, right? You'd have rows and rows of these things, and pop a coin in there, and you get your little wooden balls and try to ramp them up into the different scoring zones up here. So that was a lot of fun, and that's actually something that I would really like to add to my basement at some point. Maybe not, a full-size Skeetball machine. Those are really large and really expensive, but I've seen a few aftermarket ones that I think might go right behind the arcade machines here. I got a basketball hoop there, so it could probably go between the arcade machines and the basketball hoop. I don't know. Have to get creative with space, but man, I'd like to add that at some point. I think it's just a fun game that anybody can play, and it was one that I got to play with my dad, so I really enjoy that. And hey, maybe I'll get him out someplace, Chuck E. Cheese or something, to play some Skeetball with me again. That'd be fun. Moving on, the next one now, this is kind of more in the traditional realm of arcade games, and that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game. Man, this was, I think, had to have been the first 4-player game that I'd really seen in the arcades, and they actually had it at a supermarket that was near me. It was called Twin Value. This place was huge. It was, I don't know that Walmart existed at that point. Maybe it did, but it didn't really around here. But it was kind of like Walmart, but I think possibly bigger. And they had this deli, like, cafeteria section there, and they had this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game there. It was so cool because I'd go up to the Twin Value with my parents, and they'd be there shopping forever because the place was huge and you're getting everything. And they'd give me a few quarters and just let me go over into the cafeteria area and play some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles while they were doing shopping. So that was super, super cool. I sound a little greedy, right? Like, my fond memories are my parents giving me money to play arcade games, but I was a kid. How else am I going to play arcade games? Yeah, loved that game. And I do remember one time going to a party, actually, where we had free play on the machine, and me and some other kids I didn't even know that were there. Just sat there and played this thing and finally beat it, right? And it was one that I never got to beat at Twin Value because it just took so many coins. Maybe I wasn't that good at it. I don't know. But it was a lot of fun, and I finally got to beat it one time. Just one time, but I did beat it. Oh, yeah, so, you know, here, I got a video for you. I'll throw it down in the description. But, I mean, if you aren't familiar with the game, I'm sure you are. But if you aren't, here you go. I mean, this is a basic idea, right? So you can have up to four turtles. Why three? 4 turtles. 3 in addition to the one that's on the screen. So this is Donatello here, of course. But you could have all 4 turtles. And your position on the cabinet actually dictated which turtle you were going to be. So you actually would pick the one that you wanted to be. So it was pretty neat. Donatello was always my favorite. And that may have had something to do with the positioning on the screen, but I always thought he was pretty cool. All right, moving on. Next one, Area 51. So this one, it's one of those arcade shooters. Man, that was a sweet game. It was so much fun. I don't know that it's held up over time. The graphics in it are all pre-rendered and just don't look as great as they did. But man, it was a lot of fun. They had this at the bowling alley by my house, and my friends and I would go there, and bowl. This is high school years, and you go out there late at night on like a Friday or Saturday night, and they had the lunar bowling and all that kind of stuff. So we'd be there 11 o'clock midnight, which seemed so late to us back then, but I remember putting quite a few coins in this Area 51 with my friends and just playing the heck out of it. So this is a great one, and it's one that Arcade 1-Up's talking about possibly having. Man, I mean, that would be great if they do. So all kind of hinges on how the Big Buck Hunter cabinet does, I guess, as to whether or not this will be something that sees the light of day. If it does, man, I could sure see one of these down in my basement, because that's one heck of a fun game. Yeah, it's some gameplay here. Once again, I'll go ahead and I'll put this down in the description so you can see it. But yeah, awesome pre-rendered graphics here. It's pretty cheesy, but man, it was quite a bit of fun to play this game. I never expected to just watch it. So there you go. So those are some of my favorite games. Favorite boy, this one's not muted. Let me go ahead and mute that. That way you can hear me. So there you have it. There's my some of my fondest. This is by no means an exhaustive list, and also not representative of what I think are the best arcade games ever made. So that's not the point of this. This is just really kind of reliving some of those memories, and I have many more, but this video is already getting a little long, and I don't want to make it a 40-minute video, so maybe there will be some follow-up videos to be had here. Please, though, I would love to hear what were some of your favorite arcade memories, whether it's the arcade, the bowling alley, the movie theater, wherever it may be. Please drop those down in the comments. Love to read them, love to discuss them with you, and I'm sure some of the other viewers would also. If you like this video, please hit that thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And if you want to see more of my content, go ahead and hit subscribe. Well, thanks again for watching. I do really appreciate it, and I hope you have a wonderful day.